If you bought a truck in 2005, you owned it. The key was in your hand. The engine was yours. Nobody on this planet could stop you from putting it in drive. That is no longer guaranteed with 2026 vehicles. Buried inside a 1,100-page federal bill is a single provision, Section 24,220, that is quietly rewriting what car ownership means in America. Most drivers have never heard of it. Most salespeople will never mention it. And in January of 2026, Congress had a direct chance to stop it. They voted to keep it alive. What mechanics are already calling the passive lock is funded, moving forward and changing what the next generation of vehicles will do to your wallet, your privacy, and your freedom behind the wheel. This is what they know, and what most drivers are still missing. Section 1. The law they buried in plain sight. The law is called Section 24,220 of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, signed in November 2021. And unless you read a 1,100-page piece of federal legislation, you almost certainly never knew it existed. Here is what it actually says. Every new passenger vehicle must be equipped with advanced impaired driving prevention technology. That sounds reasonable until you read the next sentence. The system has to passively monitor the performance of the driver, not at a checkpoint, not when you consent, continuously every single time you sit behind the wheel, and if the software decides that impairment is detected, it can prevent or limit motor vehicle operation. That is the exact phrase written into federal law. Not your doctor, not a police officer. Your car's software makes that call. No breathalyzer, no badge, no appeal. The agency responsible for finalizing the rules, NHTSA, missed its own November 2024 deadline. The rules are not finished. Section 2. What the testing revealed. Kill switch jail. You are probably thinking the same thing most drivers think the first time they hear this. They will get the technology right before it goes into cars. The government would not mandate something that shuts down innocent drivers. Here is what NHTSA's own pilot testing actually showed. Drivers were flagged as potentially impaired for rubbing their eyes, for wearing sunglasses that confused the infrared cameras, for being tired after a 12-hour shift, not drunk, not over any legal limit, just exhausted after a long day. NHTSA's own December 2024 report to Congress acknowledged the agency is still working on detection accuracy. The system cannot reliably tell the difference between someone who is legally impaired and someone who just worked a double shift and is heading home at midnight. Think about what that means practically. You leave work at 11 at night. The cabin camera reads heavy eyelids. The software flags possible impairment, and your car, the one you are still making payments on, we will not let you leave the parking lot. There is no number to call, no reset button. The law does not require one to exist. Independent mechanics already have a name for this scenario. They call it kill switch jail. Stranded, sober, not impaired, just caught by software that got it wrong. But the false positive problem is only half of what drivers are not being told, because while this fight was playing out in Congress, something else was already showing up on dealership lots. Section 3. The paywall car. Most drivers have heard the BMW story. A few years ago, BMW started charging $18 a month to use heated seats in certain markets. The hardware was already installed. The wires were already connected. The heating element was built into the leather the day you drove it off the lot. BMW simply decided that whether those seats would turn on depended on a monthly software payment. The backlash was enormous, and BMW pulled back from hardware subscriptions. But pay close attention to what happened next, because this is the part most coverage missed completely. In February of 2026, BMW confirmed it remains fully committed to its connected drive subscription platform. Software features, driver assistance upgrades, navigation, all monetized after the initial sale on an ongoing basis. Toyota is now charging a subscription for built-in GPS on certain models. Mazda locks connected services behind monthly fees. Manufacturers are not retreating. They are narrowing the hardware battle while advancing the software one. Mechanics have a name for what this creates. They call it the paywall car. You financed every dollar of it. You insured it. But the manufacturer holds a software relationship that controls what your car actually delivers, month to month, for as long as you own it. And here is exactly why your own access to that vehicle's data matters more right now than it ever has before. A quality OBD2 scanner, link in the description, gives you direct access to your vehicle's data before any dealer or subscription service controls what you are allowed to see. $30 to $50, you pull the codes yourself. You walk into any repair conversation already knowing what your car is doing. Without it, you are entirely dependent on the manufacturer's version of the truth. But the subscription model and the kill switch mandate are not two separate problems. They are connected in a way most drivers have not worked out yet. And it starts with understanding why automakers are actually in favor of all of this. Section 4, the digital repo. Here's the question almost no automotive journalist is asking. Manufacturers already have remote disable capability in these vehicles, and Congress just voted to fund the mandate that expands it. Why are automakers not fighting back? Right now, you are probably thinking manufacturers would resist government control over their own products. Turns out the calculation is the exact opposite of what most drivers expect. Auto loan defaults have been rising for years. Dealership lots heading into 2026 were carrying enormous inventory of $60,000, $70,000, and $80,000 vehicles that middle-class buyers could not comfortably afford. Traditional repossession is expensive. Repo company, flatbed, confrontations that sometimes turn dangerous, storage fees, legal paperwork, thousands per vehicle recovered. With a remote disable system, none of that is necessary. A lender flags a missed payment. A command goes to the vehicle. That truck 3 states away simply stops working. No confrontation, no tow. Mechanics call this the digital repo. The infrastructure to make it happen is being built right now inside vehicles already rolling off assembly lines. The passive lock mandate provides the federal justification. The connected systems already in modern cars provide the technical pathway, and lenders are paying very close attention. But that is still not the most uncomfortable part of this story, because if one system can stop a drunk driver and repo a truck on a missed payment, who exactly controls the switch, and what prevents it from being used for something else? Section 5. Who controls the switch? The harder question, the one experienced mechanics keep coming back to, is this. If the same system that detects impairment can also be triggered by a missed loan payment, what else can it respond to? Federal law does not answer that. There is no rule defining who can send a disable command, under what circumstances, or how a driver gets their vehicle back once it has been remotely shut down. Speed enforcement, insurance compliance, emission zone restrictions. Once that hardware is installed and operational, the question is not whether it could be used beyond its original purpose. The question is what stops it. Right now, nothing in federal law provides that answer. Mechanics point to a pattern that already played out in agriculture. American farmers discovered they did not actually own their John Deere tractors. The software was proprietary. One error code could lock the machine in diagnostic mode. One Montana farmer lost an entire harvest, $80,000 in grain, because his combine locked up during a software update and the nearest dealer was 4 hours away. John Deere told him he should have scheduled the update during the off-season. That is not a distant analogy. That is a preview of exactly what is heading toward every connected vehicle on American roads. And the people already feeling the early version of that squeeze are the independent mechanics who work on your vehicle. And what is happening to them right now is going to show up directly in what you pay for every repair. Section 6, the mechanic getting squeezed. Walk into any independent repair shop that has been open for 20 years and ask what the last 5 years have looked like, not in terms of customers, but in terms of what they can actually fix. You will hear the same thing everywhere. Vehicles are arriving with systems so deeply encrypted that diagnosing basic problems requires manufacturer-specific software. A check engine light that used to mean a 30-minute job can now require a proprietary diagnostic tool that costs thousands of dollars to license and that the manufacturer controls access to entirely. Right now, independent shops still handle about 70% of post-warranty vehicle repairs in the United States. That number is under real pressure. The Repair Act, legislation that would guarantee independent shops access to the same diagnostic data that dealerships receive, has 83% public support as of mid-2025. Bipartisan, still stalled in Congress because manufacturer lobbying holds the line. The result is already in your repair bills. A sensor reset an independent shop could handle for $150 gets routed to the dealership, where the same job costs $400. That gap widens every model year, and there is a direct consequence of this for every driver, one that is showing up more frequently and catching people completely off guard. Software glitches, false positive lockouts, and electronics failures are stranding drivers in ways that simply never happened 10 years ago. A reliable portable jump starter, link in the description, means when a system failure leaves you stuck, you are not waiting 3 hours for a dealer's tow truck. That is not a convenience item anymore. That is protection against a system that is increasingly designed to keep you dependent on the manufacturer for everything. But the repair access problem is only part of what is changing. There is one more layer to this conversation that most automotive coverage completely skips, and it may be the one that affects the most drivers the most directly, starting right now today. Section 7. The data you never agreed to share. Every new vehicle with a cellular connection is transmitting data right now. Your speed at every moment of every trip, your braking force, how hard you accelerate, what time you leave home, what routes you drive, where you stop, and how long you stay. This is not a suspicion. It is written into the user agreement handed to you at the dealership. The document most buyers sign without reading while they are focused on the monthly payment. You are probably thinking that data is protected. Here is what is actually happening with it. Insurance companies are already partnering with manufacturers to access this data stream. Usage-based programs get marketed as discount opportunities, and they often do start with lower rates. But what they are building is a behavioral driving profile from every single trip you take, a profile that can be used to deny a claim after an accident, justify a rate increase after one hard braking event on a wet road, or flag you as a higher risk driver based on what an algorithm decides. Privacy law in the United States has not kept pace with connected vehicle technology. Once that data exists in a third-party system, you have almost no control over who buys it or how it gets used. Here is the connection that ties this entire video together. The passive lock, the paywall car, the digital repo, and the data collection are not four separate problems. They are the same cellular infrastructure, the same over-the-air system, the same shift in who controls your vehicle after you drive it off the lot, and who profits from the driver staying uninformed. And here is the move smart drivers, the ones mechanics are already tipping off, are quietly making before the window closes. Section 8. The analog window. Smart buyers and experienced mechanics tracking this shift are already making the same quiet move. Pre-2020 vehicles, full-size trucks, and SUVs built before mandatory cellular telemetry and encrypted connected systems became the standard, are holding value in ways that would have seemed unusual a few years ago. Mechanics call the moment we are in right now the analog window, the period where older, mechanically simpler vehicles still represent a fundamentally better ownership proposition than anything on a 2026 lot. A well-maintained 2016 or 2017 full-size truck is a vehicle you fully own with no ongoing software dependencies. A vehicle your independent mechanic can diagnose and repair without requesting manufacturer access. A vehicle without a passive monitoring camera reading your face every time you drive to work. This is not nostalgia. This is math. Repair bills on post-2022 vehicles are already reflecting the diagnostic access problem. The subscription layer adds costs that did not exist 5 years ago. The passive lock mandate is delayed, not canceled, and the data pipeline is already running on every connected vehicle on the road today. The analog window is not permanent. Parts availability changes. Mechanics who specialize in older platforms eventually retire. But that window is open right now, and the drivers who recognize it before the broader market prices it in will be in a significantly better position. Here is exactly what smart drivers do right now, whether they're in a 2015 pickup or a vehicle they just bought last month. Section 9. What smart drivers do now. The mechanics warning their best customers about 2026 models are not being paranoid. They are watching the convergence of the passive lock mandate, the paywall car, the digital repo risk, the repair access stall, and the data collection problem all arriving at the same time. And they are giving every loyal customer the same consistent advice. Know what you are actually buying before you walk into that showroom. A 2026 vehicle is not the same ownership proposition as a 2016 vehicle. You are entering an ongoing software relationship with the manufacturer on top of your financing. The monthly payment is the starting point, not the total cost. If you are in the market right now, seriously evaluate a well-maintained pre-2020 certified pre-owned vehicle before you commit to a new model. For drivers putting practical daily miles on a vehicle, the ownership math has shifted significantly, and most people buying new right now have not run those numbers. Support right to repair legislation in your state. The Repair Act has 83% public support. It just needs constituent pressure to move. Call your representative. The independent mechanic you have trusted for 20 years depends on it, and so does your ability to choose where you take your vehicle and what you pay. Understand your vehicle's connectivity level. Know whether it is transmitting data. Read the terms on any connected service before you activate it. And keep an OBD2 scanner in the glove box so that whatever your vehicle is reporting back to the manufacturer, you can read that same information yourself. The window is still open, but every model year from here narrows it. The passive lock is funded. The paywall car is already on the lot. The analog window is open, but it will not stay open forever. The mechanics having these conversations with their best customers are not conspiracy theorists. They are people who work on these systems every single day and already know where this is heading. Stay informed, stay ahead of it, and we will see you in the next one.